Hi, everybody. This is Nannette Kennedy, and I'm with Humanities Team in Evolution Revolution. And this is our Sunday book club discussion group, and it is September 12th. And we are reading The Only Thing That Matters by Neale Walsch. And I think I'll pass that over to Lynda, and she can get us started, our infamous reader.
Infamous.
Oh, excuse me. Can you tell me on which page is this? I was a little bit late.
Yeah,
That's
so
okay.
that's what I'm just about to do here. So this is The Only Thing That Matters, Conversations with Humanity, Book 2. We're on chapter 27, which starts on page 132. Now, I'm going to back up for just a second and read the last word from the last chapter because we need the continuity. So maybe a few words. So it can change everything. The tool, ? Gratitude. Chapter 27. An enormous power has just been placed in your hands. Now you have one missing piece of the puzzle. Now you have one transformative tool. You will be given others here as well. It is a device with immense power, a simple device that can transform almost any moment, almost miraculously, almost immediately. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's understand exactly what this tool is. Gratitude is not merely an emotion, it's a decision. So powerful is this decision that it becomes a definition and a declaration. It defines and declares your experience of here and now, and hence your reality. Gratitude can be a simple emotional reaction, or it can be a magnificent spiritual creation. It is a simple reaction when your mind is on automatic. It is a magnificent creation when your mind is merged with your soul in making a combined choice about any present moment. In every moment of your life, your choice is always the same, to move into reaction or creation. You might have a little fun noticing that reaction and creation are very close to being the very same word. Only the C and the R need to be reversed. When you see what you have always been meant to see, then you are what you always are. And of course, your life is reversed. While gratitude may be one of the most powerful tools your mind has ever been given, it may also be the most underutilized. There is no doubt, because most people are not aware of the immense power of gratitude to reverse a thought that is at the foundation of all suffering. As earlier noted, the central cause of suffering is the idea that something is happening that should not be happening. Gratitude unleashes an energy that turns this idea on its head, announcing that just because something is unpleasant does not mean it is unbidden, unwelcome, or unwanted. We've already demonstrated that pain, both physical and emotional, can in fact be bidden, welcome, and wanted for any one of a number of reasons. Yet if the mind thinks that a particular pain is unwanted, it will not abide it. And that is precisely what creates struggle in one's life and suffering. A soul knowing. Gratitude is not a tool with which to fool the mind. It is a tool with which to open the mind. Struggle is the result of the mind rejecting what the soul offers. It is the mind deciding to go off in another direction, veering from the path of the soul. Suffering is the emotional product of that decision. Both struggle and suffering are creations of the mind, which is where your reality is created. What your mind thinks about something is critical in determining how you experience it. And gratitude can cause you to change your mind. Yet gratitude is not a tool with which to fool the mind. It is a tool with which to open the mind. It expands your normal limited thinking to include a counterintuitive truth that even when something seems bad for you, it can actually be good for you. Underneath this truth lies a deeper one. Nothing that ever happens is bad for you, or it wouldn't be happening. Life is incapable of producing an event or a condition that does not carry you to the next place in your evolution, and that is not designed for your next expression of divinity. Since the expression of divinity is the reason you are here, you can be sure that everything that is placed before you appears before you to serve this divine purpose. In other words, your purpose. So we say, thank you, God. We give thanks for the opportunity to heal an old injury, to close an old wound, to alter an old pattern, to shift an old reality, to release an old story, to change an old idea, and to create a new experience of self and life. Okay, that's saying a lot. And you might now ask, how is all this possible? How can all that healing and change occur? To see this clearly, you must observe with gratitude life's most wonderful gift: reliable repetition. To explain, you can depend on life to be repetitious. Very few events or situations arising in your life will be much of a surprise to you anymore. Not in the sense of you are never having experienced anything like them before. How you are going to react to them can actually be anticipated by you, and you can reject your prior decisions about such events or situations if you wish. That is life's great secret. The greatest secret is not the law of attraction, but the law of retraction. This is a tool used to retract old decisions and make new ones instantly. This is what true creation is all about. When you bear witness to your responses to life's current events and immediately to retract what you decided in the past about similar events, you give yourself almost unimaginable power, including the power to end struggle and suffering forever. Buddha demonstrated this precisely and taught it. It is gratitude that gives you this power. Gratitude gives you a fresh start. It's like being born again and having the mind reset to zero. We'll discuss that in just a bit. It wipes the slate clean of all prior negative judgments that you may have held about any person, event, circumstance, or situation. At the risk of a little repetition right here, let's review from a slightly different angle how the whole process of life works so that you can see all of this even more clearly. Within an astonishingly short period of time following your birth, you came into contact with, then analyzed, assembled, and stored a monumental amount of data about your exterior world. You did this so efficiently that after only a few years on this planet, it became almost impossible for you to encounter any new experiences. New events, yes. New experiences, no. This is by design. You are not supposed to encounter new experiences. You are supposed to encounter the same experiences over and over again. The experiences you're encountering repeatedly are inside of you, not outside of you. All experience is interior. It is events that are exterior. But events have nothing to do with your experience. The proof of this is the fact that two people can have distinctly different experiences at the exact same event. So we see that what you can encounter any number of new exterior events, but one can virtually no truly new experiences. And the older you become, the more this will become obvious to you. Indeed, this truth will evidence itself extemporarily as each year goes by. Oh, exponentially, it's hyphenated, it threw me. Indeed, this truth will evidence itself exponentially as each year goes by. You have already experienced this. You have already experienced love, and you will no doubt experience it again. You have already experienced animosity, and you will no doubt experience it again. You've already experienced commitment, and you will no doubt experience it again. You've already experienced betrayal, and you will no doubt experience it again. You already have experienced disappointment and excitement, agony and ecstasy, frustration and exhilaration, exasperation and exaltation, anger and joy, agitation and peace, loss and gain, fear and fearlessness, cowardice and courage, ignorance and wisdom, blahs and bliss, confusion and clarity, and just about every other emotional polarity that one can describe or imagine. A soul knowing. All experience is interior. It is the events that are exterior. The reason it was said that all experience is interior is that emotion is the sponsor of your experience, and all emotions are created within. Events are simply outer physical occurrences. It is the emotion you hold about a particular event that creates your experience of it. And there are no new emotions for you to experience at this stage of life. There is an endless number of unique events which can and will be physically presented to you by life. But the emotion generated by the event and the interior experience that this emotion produces will be one which you have encountered before, in most cases, many times before. The mind remembers its experiences, every one of them, every single one of them. And now we see the reason for this. Your mind has been designed to hold in memory literally millions of experiences in order for you to notice that you are encountering conditions and events in your exterior world that are the same or nearly the same in their emotional content as you have encountered before. The noticing of this is in turn intended to offer you repeated chances, literally millions of chances to respond differently to conditions and events, both past and present, should you choose to, thereby recreating yourself anew in the next grandest version of the greatest vision you ever held about who you are. You see then that a single life offers in miniature what reincarnation offers in maximature, limitless opportunity to evolve. This is the process of life in all its forms. Scientists tell us that Even the universe is evolving. Do you imagine that you are not? End of chapter.
I can't get my. Oh, there we go. There's shiny me. I'm gonna have to start wearing makeup just to not look like I'm the Walking Dead. And it's one of my experiences, apparently. Well, who would like to start? I would like to say something before we start. And I want to say it now because I meant to say it last week. I didn't remember to say it till after we were gone. Anybody know anything about Bima and where she's been?
No,
I haven't heard.
I'm going to write to her, make sure all is well.
good plan.
Sorry for that little intrusion.
No, that's okay.
I like it in this chapter. The things I liked particularly were the, oh God, now my brain's going blank. The way he puts it, like little mini opportunities to reincarnate, like ways to evolve during this lifetime. And I like that because I know there's moments in my life where I've seen when I made the switch on things. Like I used to be very shy and not at all outgoing or assertive. And I'm sure that doesn't sound like me to anyone in this circle. So it's interesting to kind of look at it from that lens. And there was something else I can't remember. The other thing I want to say, and I'm really curious whether this makes any sense to the people for whom English is not your first language, because it's about the connotation of the word rather than the denotation, like the energy around it. And to me, the word gratitude contains this vibration of lack. It's like you lack something, now you got it, and you're grateful for it. And on some class I was doing, they suggested appreciation. And appreciation has the vibration closest to love, sort of. And it doesn't contain that energy of lack. So kind of throughout this chapter, everywhere it said grateful or gratitude, I was substituting in my brain appreciation because that word just feels better to me. But I don't know whether for a person for whom English is not your first language, I'm curious whether you feel that vibration or not, because I know that other English speakers have agreed with that. So anyway, that was the thing I wanted to say.
Mary, about your question, yes, I feel the energy on English words every time as much as I do in German, French, in every language. I usually don't even know, how do you say, I sense the language much more than I can. Somebody asked me, how can you please translate it? And I say, okay,
Yeah.
I have several words for it, but I really feel the language first, and then I feel and sense it, and then I'm translating out of them what I sense or what I perceive.
Yeah.
And yeah, and for me it's the word, I'm very happy with the word gratitude. It's for me it's a very whole word, a very yeah. But I think it also might have an impact on where you learned to talk about gratitude, around which people we have been using these words, and how these words are also filled with this energy of where we get to know these words, or where we use them first, perhaps.
Gratitude journal.
Okay. It doesn't sound that you had fun with it.
I did it for years, but that's my first incidence. Gratitude journal. Every night when I went to bed, before I went to sleep, I wrote down at least 5 things I was grateful for that day. I did it for years. It changed. I mean, I know it made a difference in how I approach the world, but I still feel that appreciate now represents my feeling better.
Okay, thanks. Oh, now we have Mirko. He just was faster, but I just elected. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
For me, the word gratitude has not this meaning of luck, because in Italian, when you say thank you, for example, we use grazie, that is
Oh, yeah, so it's very related.
the same root etymology of gratitude. And also I like the sound, because attitude, Neale often say gratitude is an attitude. Anzi, he says gratitude is the attitude. And I agree with this, because I like also appreciation. But I like and I experience every day and every hour in my life gratitude because of what I lived, and I think he is connected with the idea or the tool of repetition in life. That is a great tool, because in my life I realized at one point that a negative experience that I had turned out that was positive after some years. So I was grateful, and I am grateful also today, because I think that what we are living in our planet with this situation with pandemic is not new as much as many people say. We think that is new, but for me is a situation that is repeating. And what is repeating and is bad is that we are reacting the same way that we have done in the past, and we are losing the opportunity to innovate our way of living, in my view, because we are not realizing that this is the moment, or was, I don't know, for me is the moment to change really everything, change our economy, change our everything, our society, our way. Come si dice? The most important for me is the opportunity to change our economy today. But we are not doing for me. I don't see this in Italy, where I am now. I'm not seeing this, but in my soul, in my view, I see that we have really not a great problem, a great repetition, and we are not learning the lessons from the past. For me, we are, as humanity, not me or you, but we are easy to forget. We are easy to forget. Probably in 2 or 3 years we regret this moment, because we will think that we had an opportunity to change, but we are not really change only the surface. We are only really change the surface, but we will see. Is not said anything. The only thing that I want to ask you is if you any of you have ever seen the movie. It's very famous. Is an American movie, The Groundhog Day, with Bill Murray. That is a great story also today. If you have not seen, I suggest you to see immediately, because it's a story about a person that I try to say in English, that wake up every morning the same day at the same hour and relive the same day. And now it's a great movie for this chapter, and for my life every day, because every day we wake up and we, in certain way, we have the same experience, like the chapter says.
Of course.
But we have, I realized that in my life that I have the great chance to change the way I experience the events. For example, I have lived this pandemic with equanimity, because with hope, because I at the beginning I was thinking, now we have the opportunity to put the humanity at the same level with this illness, but is not. There is not much true in what has been said for me, because we have not changed, for me, anything, only the surface, only more Zoom call, more, but it's only the surface, because if you go out with the real life, I don't see the oneness that I like to see between people, like we are all one. We are all. That is my point of view, in my understanding.
I would like to butt in here, and I will make my comment, but Romy's had her hand up for a while. Do you want to add to that, Romy?
Yes, I have a few questions for Mirko from the first part, because Mirko, I think you just say to restore, so I think it's on many different, I think we can see it on different levels from different perspectives. And I very much believe that on many places people are able to build up, and they're already built it up things new from scratch. I don't think that it's helpful in this time now to restore things. I think it's very important to follow things. They go and they are built up from scratch in the last few times. And I can see so many things that are going on now. Yes, when I go out into the street, perhaps it looks a little bit the same. And I think it's not the majority of people who will gonna change. But right now, during this COVID time, and so there are so many islands where people meet and try to live this and even bring it into the day life. And so I don't think that we can expect hope that 100% of the people will take this Corona time for a change, but I don't think that it's needed that there are so many people. I think it's not needed. I don't know, that's a huge quantity of people. I think only, I don't know the critical mass exactly, but yeah,
4%.
I don't agree.
4%.
I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree that nothing changed. I feel that it's changed a lot, and it's changing a lot. And it's possible, as other things are possible, they haven't been possible then. But when I go out and when I have to deal with whatever governments or whatever, then I think it has not changed now. But I think perhaps it's the period of 2 years, it's not enough. Perhaps we have to think about the next 10 or 20 years. It's will gonna change, and it will impact after. Sometimes it will impact the future. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I want to add to what Mirko was saying about oneness. And I think I may have mentioned this before, but one of my jobs at Humanities Team is to proof recordings that we make we have a stream you can get, and some of you already know about this, but it's like a spiritual Netflix is what it's like. And I was proofing this panel for Global Oneness Summit, about conscious business. And one of the things they said was that the oneness right now is really tough, because it's not tough to be oneness in your own circles. You know, it's like we all believe in oneness, but this gentleman said, but so do all of the people that are involved with capitalism. They're a oneness too. And so it can be very confusing to people that don't understand what we mean by oneness, that it doesn't get confused in there. And I think that in a way there's a two-ness. There's those of us that believe in that we're all one. We are all brothers and sisters, no matter where we came from, what we look like. But people that are having problems with the term oneness are often people that are thinking about things like, what did I just say? I just noticed that, Ariana, did you have your hand up?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll let you go, Romy.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I don't know. I would like to say to one this thing, coronavirus. This is now. Yes. What Meko said. Of course, that majority of people think that the economy is the first, but I'm sure that here we should know that economy is not the first, but that environment is the first and the most important. And sure, in this 1, 2, 3 years, we'll know if we will do this term to sustainability or not. And this is, of course, yes, very important, as Nico said. And I'm doing this in my professional work, marketing, trying to write something about sustainable marketing, environment, and so on. Yes, of course, people must change in business. And I would want also some words tell about this gratitude. That I think that I was not feeling gratitude in my life because things were not going as I wanted. And so I didn't feel gratitude. And now I am in this challenge to feel gratitude for the things which are unwanted. And I don't know, I think that for me it's not easy if something is not wanted and something is said or something like this to say thank you. No, it's not easy. It's like it's easy to say thank you when it's good something, but to find this thank you in all situations on the most challenging thing. Yes, over. How do I put off this hand?
You're muted, Nannette.
To talk, and she can't get her hand to go up, so Lynda, go
Okay.
ahead.
Lower. Okay, thank you.
So Nannette, when you were talking about the different group, I think it was you that said the different groups, that this group is all about oneness, but then there might be another group and they're all about oneness in their own right. Let's not confuse these things. The true understanding of oneness is based in physics. It's based in science. We are all made out of the exact same fabric and material. That's the core teaching behind oneness. We are all the same energy. We are all the same stuff. We look different in this three-dimensional world, but this three-dimensional world is an illusion. And I mean, in factually, it's an illusion. And so I wanted to share a discussion that I've been having with some people about consciousness, because ultimately, the only thing that truly exists is consciousness. And consciousness exists in all of the oneness matter that exists, right? What we are, if you put anything under the strongest microscope that exists, we are space more than anything else. But everything that you put under there will look exactly the same as the next thing you put under there. That's the principle of oneness, right? We are all one. We are also all consciousness. And thinking about why are we here? There's one video that I watched recently. He says this one thing really in passing. And I think it is like the biggest key to understanding this idea of oneness. We are all God, because there isn't anything other than God. And so if we are the same material and we are all the same energy, and God is what we use as the word for describing the ability to create, we are all God. So then ask ourselves, why did we create this? Why would we have created this? And I really think the answer is to not be alone. Because if we're all one, then we're alone. We're alone in the universe as one. And this physical thing that we've got going here is so that we could experience two-ness, right? Not oneness. So that we could experience ourselves in another. It doesn't make us two-ness. We're still all one. But what happens is we forget all of this. We come into form and we forget all of it. And I have a theory about why that happens, but that's not what I want to talk about. We forget. And we start to look around as we get older and we get language. And there's no one telling us, hey, this stuff that you're seeing really isn't real. And we're all one. And you're God and I'm God. And we're all one together. We're not telling kids that. So as we grow up, we look around and we think this is all real. We take it seriously. And I think that the key about gratitude brings us back to, I think the reason that gratitude works is that it takes us back to that appreciation of we're not alone, right? We created each other to not be alone and to experience this and to share it. And that's where the real power of gratitude comes from. Because when you're grateful, you're in that place of appreciation for what exists. And 99.9% of the time, every single one of us is going through our lives annoyed at what's around us. So, you know, I mean, I'm as guilty as anybody. I'm annoyed because the dishwasher is full of clean dishes, the kitchen sink is full of dirty dishes, and I don't really want to take the time to go deal with that. And so we get bogged down and we lower our vibration and we really miss the whole point almost every day, unless we can find a way to stay in that place of grateful for the opportunity to have the experience, whatever it may be.
Yeah, just 1 second, Mirko. Because Linda's gonna have to drop and I don't want her to miss what I'm about to say. please know, I was not saying that we should have two-ness.
No, I knew you weren't. I
Okay.
knew you weren't. I
Um,
was just clarifying for
okay.
anybody that might be listening and not know
Right.
that.
And the oneness, I know we're all one. There's a great number of people who do not believe that. And if they did, they would act differently. But anyway, Mirko, you've had your hand up for a long time. Thank you, Lynda.
Okay, I can speak.
Yes.
I'd like to answer to all to Romy, to Ariana when talks about the difficulty to prove gratitude, but we haven't enough time. So I want to only to say that the end of the movie is wonderful because the come si dice, the Bill Murray, that is the star of the movie. After some day that he wake up the same day and he realized that he think he is a god, he says, and so he tried to do all the ego things of the world, like kill somebody, have many women's, to spend all his money, and even suicide. But he wake up the next day again, and so the way he find to escape these tricks, this cycle, is to do unto others what he would like to be done unto him. So it's a wonderful message for me, because, and for my life, for my perspective, because we, in my opinion, we can see the oneness that Lynda was talking, only if we have this perspective to focus on the other. And in my experience, I realized the oneness with one of my first girlfriend, which I was in love, and not scientifically, but after that also scientifically, but with my love, I don't know how to say, with my soul, because I see I remember the day I was watching her, and I see that she was me. I have had this intense feeling of being her. And after that, in the years, I have the feeling of being even plants, even my dogs, even everything that I was seeing was me. This was my feeling. So I think that not everybody has this feeling, probably. For example, not my father, but it is not important for me. What is important is that I talk with Neale and have had this same experience in different level with his wife, that he talks every time of his wife, that is wonderful, etc. But what I want to say is that the only tool for me is not focus on us, but focus on what we can give. This is the tool. And the gratitude for me is not what I have experienced with this girlfriend, for example. After that was the opposite. of love. But I realized that I couldn't hate her. I could even today. The only thing that I can do is love her. I don't see her from many years, but I can't hate her because I think is an aspect of me. I think I have experienced this, and I think that I am, like the chapter said, you can't stop evolution. Probably we are evolved in different direction, but gratitude is a thing, not a thing, an attitude is a decision, like chapter say, is not something that you feel because you have gained something. I don't see this like gratitude. Gratitude is the decision that you make in life when I think for me, a note is a note. And a note, and so you at some point you can see that all that which you lived was for good, and you have to be grateful in advance. This is the secret for me. Grateful not for something particular, grateful because you decide to be. This is what you decide to be for me. I think I have finished because I talk
Thank
a
you.
lot.
You're an Italiano. I come from a long line of Italians. I know all about talking with your hands, and so we appreciate you, what you had to say.
Thank you.
Romy, did you want to add something, or Mary?
The only thing I wanted to say was I actually appreciated your pointing out that grazie and gratitude have the same root. I liked that. And everything you said. I mean, Groundhog Day is one of my favorite movies. So yeah. On anything.
And Nannette,
This
by
is
the
the same
way,
root of grace.
yeah,
Grace, yes, maybe Grace, yes. Grazie.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
great.
and I'm going back to Nannette to talk with your hands, and so it's also all over other places. It's not only in Italy. Because I'm only talking with my hands, with my legs, and with whatever.
You know what, Nannette, Romy, I like very much the opportunity, for example, this meeting when we can talk about this book, because in the real life I am in this planet for many years. I haven't never find no one who was willing to talk about these things. And even with the group of Neale, the integration program, I think it's I like very much to meet with him, with other person, talk about energy, about this spirituality, about this thing, because for me, this is the really good news of this period of pandemic. The fact that many people is awakening to another dimension that what we can see with our eyes. We have realized, many of us are realizing that we can be at peace even in the middle of chaos. For example, I have realized that I am very in peace even with some problems, with some what I would say before. I see the repetition. The problem is not the repetition of events for me. It's the repetition of how we react. We are reacting like Bill Murray in the movie. And I don't know when will arrive the moment that we decide, like Bill Murray at the end of the movie, to finally focus on others and not on ourselves, because after many years that you want everything for you first, the money, the like the book say, the girl, the car, at some point is very annoying, like Lynda said. This you arrive at the point to say it's all this is life. I have been lucky, thank you to this girl that I said before, when he at some point he does a very bad thing to me in front to other people, not between me and her only. And he did this. Now I realize today that, like the book say, forgive me, to give me the opportunity to recreate myself in a greatest version. But at that time, I didn't realize. I think she was doing this to punish me because I wasn't willing to marry her. Today, I can say that this was not the reason. The reason is a metaphysical reason, and for me was to become more compassionate. This was so. For example, in this case, I can say thank you, God. I can be grateful because I'm not even the person of before. And the very strange thing is that I wasn't, and I am not able to hate her. This is the strange thing that I don't explain to me, because I love yeah.
Well,
This is strange.
But that's life, Mirko. I think that's life. I think some people are sent to.
My mother and my father are not agree with you.
Yeah, they don't have to. But I think, and one thing you mentioned, when we're gonna change that repeatedly, everything happened, and so for me it was the time when I get tired of the stories. I just get tired, and I don't want it to be dependent on anybody else, and I don't want it to make somebody wrong for my situation, and this gratitude was one way to go, and it's, for me, it's a good way to go, to say, okay, the energy lies within me, and I go for, and I pause instead to react. I pause, I go back, I don't do anything in the moment. And since then, I think it becomes much more quiet, and it becomes much more aligned with who I am. Yeah, that's it.
okay, well, we've come to the end of the hour, and Lynda just left and said goodbye to everybody. And I just wanted to say that before Mary comes in and gets us to move on, I really enjoy the conversation, and I really appreciate, I have gratitude for all of you, because I do appreciate you. So thank you for adding to the conversation, everyone.
And I'm sorry, were you done, Nannette?
Yes.
And it's a lovely group. You know, I've been attending this group for some years now, less than Nannette and Lynda, but the third after them at this point with who's here. And, you know, the group changes, people come and go. And I think part of why we keep running over the hour with this group is because it's a great group who's really engaged and has a lot to say, right? Wouldn't you concur, Nannette?
I agree. And that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a lovely group. I wanted to say one thing about Groundhog Day and when do you make that choice? You know, it took him a very long time to come to that choice of the perfect day where he did it all right. But we don't have to start with the perfect day where we do it all right. Look what he went through to get there. So it's really, maybe I should just go into the meditation now. The moment to moment choices as we go through our day, right? There was this poem, it's by E.E. Cummings, and it had the line, yes is a world, and in this world of yes, live. And I resonated with that so strongly. I was in my 20s, it was on a greeting card. And then I realized, you know, some years later, wait a minute, if I'm living in a world of yes, that means I have to say yes to everything, not just the good stuff that I love, but like the difficult things, right? We have to be a yes to all of it. And some other things that have resonated with me since then is from like a Rumi poem, I think, this moment where you are right now, or this place where you are right now, God has circled on a map for you. It's by design. It's all by design. It all has a place to play in the overall tapestry. And what we learned today in this chapter is that it's all giving us an opportunity to be there in that moment, to not fight with it and resist it, which God knows I've spent a lot of time doing, and I still do that sometimes. And it's exhausting, right? It's so exhausting fighting with what is in the present moment. And when we remember that this present moment is here for us to have an opportunity to create, it's an event that's giving us an opportunity to create a different experience of how we respond to these events and how we live these moments. And I find it incredibly delightful to know that I get to make that choice over and over. So if I screw it up sometimes, that doesn't mean that I've ruined it forever, right? Growing up, being a child, trying to be so perfect, you know, it's like we have opportunities to mess up and to see what happens with that, you know, like Bill Murray smashing into walls and, you know, trying to kill himself and then coming back. And it's like, oh, we're still working with this set of events, you know, they keep coming up for us to try a different way and see what works better for us. And I think, as we know in this group, you know, when we come at it from the place of oneness and loving ourselves and the other as ourselves, because we are all one, that enables us to make better choices in every moment. So that's what I want to leave us with this week.
Thank you. That was very good. You do really well coming up with that stuff right off the top of your head.
Right off the top of the energy that
Yeah.
comes down into me. So,
Yeah.
but thank you all. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's shown me a new side of myself.
Good. Good. All right. Well, we'll see you all next week. And I love your little doodads, Romy. They're
Bye.
really cute. All right.
Bye.
All
Bye.
right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you all so much.
Yes, I love you too.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I love me.
Bye.